Hey Rodney, this is Jason from MidnightBlasters. So I'm here today to talk to you about your Lynx, to go over a couple of things. Big things I want to make sure I cover is how to swap a barrel, how to get in and how to change out your springs, where you want to lubricate everything for what's going forward. Hold on a sec here. My dog is snoring, so I'm not going to shoot him, but just one in the range. There, better, quiet now. So, okay, so operation, as you can see, this is a pump action springer, so you'll just prime it back, okay, that compresses the spring, all right, then when you take it forward, that allows the trigger and the sear to press up on the catch to release this. That's one of the features of how it also has slam fire, so if you bring it forward, as you slam it forward, it will fire, so hold down on the trigger and it'll shoot. All right, so you got that. Okay, now as far as being able to do some of the takedown stuff. Now, this is a brand new print, so it's going to be a little bit tighter than what it will be over time. And what I mean is, it's not that it's going to become loose or fall apart. It'll just get broken in. Right now, it's kind of hard to push some of these push pins out and pull them out, so like I kind of use a little help, just pushing that pin just a little further out so I can get my fingers on it, because it can be kind of tough to really get that out. Just it fits so well, which is, I mean, it may sound like a pain, but you'd much rather have it tight than loose, trust me, all day. If it's loose, then it'd be wobbly and you'd have all sorts of air leaks. So this is a very tight fit. Okay, so here's your shroud, right? That comes off. You can see you have access to the barrel. You don't have to remove the shroud to get to the barrel. So one thing I can show you is right here. So if you do this, you've got these two thumb screws right here on each side, okay? Those are actually retained by two nuts that are inside. So don't back them all the way out, otherwise you can drop the nut down inside the blaster. It's a big pain in the butt if you do that. So just loosen them. You'll tell when they're loose, but they're not falling out, right? That allows you then to just go ahead and twist and pull out your barrel. So it's just held in by friction of the O-rings and the turnaround in the back, and then also by those thumb screws. Now, if you're having problems with it going back in for whatever reason, just make sure that you have those nuts and the thumb screws pulled back to the top, and then it should just slide down, and you're gonna feel two bumps as it goes past both O-rings. So 1, 2, all right. Tighten that back down. Okay. Sometimes you will have to loosen these thumb screws if you're taking the top off, just because it helps with the barrel and giving tension, so it releases a little tension if you just loosen those. Just make sure that you retighten them before you go back to play. Otherwise, the barrel may get loose and you may wonder why your seal is not super perfect, and it's because the barrel is slowly getting pushed out by just the air volume. So, okay, so to remove everything. Now, I can pull the shroud off if I just needed to quickly look in and see anything like that. But one of the things that you're going to want to get to potentially in the future is to go ahead and do any maintenance inside here, or to swap out springs. So what I'm going to recommend, you can pull this whole assembly out pretty quickly just by lifting the bar. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to prime it with it all together, so that way when I push down, it's primed, and then I'm going to bring the spring out with the plunger and all of it in one piece. So you have this prime bar, okay, and you'll know the prime bar, it's got like a little notch right here cut into it. So you can see that notch that's cut into it. That actually goes down on the top of the priming block, which has a little groove that runs on top of it, so they just kind of interlock right there, right? You'll see, and that's what actually pulls that priming back and forth, and it's also what feeds a dart into the Lynx. Okay, so you pull this out. Now remember, this is a primed spring, so you're going to want to make sure that you catch it in this side and don't just shoot it like a champagne bottle, right? So you got that, but all you need to do then is you can swap out to your new spring, drop it back in here. Okay, so some of the features you do have additionally, so this right here, this is a Roboman all steel catch, so you don't have to worry about your catch. Then it's all metallic, as you can see, that you have all metal trigger and sear. All right, the barrel is a Kuriaka aluminum barrel, so it's machine made, chamfered at both ends. And then there you go. You also have the black anodized bars. So we've got this back in there. Slide this this bar right here used to be for support on the original Lynx. Now we just use it for kind of color because of them putting this shroud and the design of the shroud like this actually makes it far superior as far as the rigidity. And so now it's just for kind of like accent and I guess a little bit of added support, but not actually 100% required. So one of the things I can do is I can make different color bars out of 3D printed plastic if you're interested in the future as well. So kind of get this together. Oh, like I said, if it's not going back together, just loosen those barrel nuts. It allows you to push down a little bit and make sure that it can all kind of slide into place. Push the pin back in. All right, we're back in. It's compressed. Okay, go ahead and. Okay, so now as far as what we want to do to check, oh, and like I said, you want to make sure that you tighten those thumb screws back down after you're done. Good deal. Actually, let me make sure I shot that. Okay, good. All right, so we've got that. Now, there's a ram in here, okay? So that's the dart ram. When you prime the blaster back, this slides backwards. It's connected to that priming bar in the back. That's actually when it comes forward, when you pump it forward, that's what's pulling the dart out of the magazine. So when you put the mag up in there, the ram's gonna pull that out. That also seals this piece right here that's called the turnaround, okay? So once that turnaround is sealed, that's what allows the air to come down the plunger tube through the turnaround, which is like a U, and then that's connected to the barrel and pushes that dart that's fed into the back of the turnaround and is sealed by the ram. The air just pushes it down the barrel, all right? So there's an O-ring on that ram. You can see that has a Phillips head screw. So one of the things you can do is if you take that back and you need to adjust it, is you can reach in with a longer screwdriver and you can actually adjust the tightness. Now remember, the tighter you make that, the harder it's going to be to pull the blaster back in and prime it, okay? It just because sometimes that O-ring will get too fat. And so it's going to make it really hard to do. So you have to kind of mess with it to tweak it and get it to the right amount. So I'm only telling you this in case if you have to adjust in the future based off tightnesses or any issues, and you may want to lubricate that O-ring. You've got two other O-rings that you're going to want to kind of watch. The most important one I'm going to say is this O-ring right here, this front one. That's the one that's going to be sliding up and down the plunger tube. So you're going to want to make sure that you use some lubricant inside that plunger tube. I'm going to include with this so that way that you can go ahead and just apply that. You can also order more from Silver Fox Industries or Out of Darts. There's a lot of other places that sell it as well, but those are the two easiest hobby ones that I know of to go get it. So, all right, so there's that. Now, so to release your magazine, you've got a mag release right here. All right, so this is one way to release the mag. You just depress that. The other thing is I did include this thumb release. So all you'll have to do is just tap back on that and it should release your magazine from there as well. So make sure. Something feels funny with the mag release. Let me check it here. Okay, it's good. All right, so if you tap that, but I'm going to tell you personally, I don't ever run the mag release, the optional one, because I accidentally bump it all the time. So if you want to remove it, I'll show you quickly how to do that as well. So I'll go ahead and loosen that. It's going to require a little bit more. So you pop the pin out, shroud off, pull this out. Now with that being loose, making sure those are loose, you can actually just slide this piece up so you get around the plunger tube, take it out, and then slide back down. It's kind of just reverse operations. The order is not 100% specific. Now if you can't get it back in because you didn't prime it like I didn't do there, you just have to kind of jiggle it and it will fall into place. Make sure that you get the priming block within that catch piece, okay? So there you go. Drop that back in. Start to tighten that down slightly. Slip the pin in. Oh, come on now. Let's tighten it too soon. Let's see what I've done. Done something funny. I just don't know what it is yet. Okay, all right. Now with that, you're way less likely now to accidentally drop that mag. So it's nice sometimes to have that thumb release, but I'm going to tell you how many times I'm running. And as I'm running, I rub it against my gut, and boom, it pops it right off. So what I can do is I'll reach out to you to ask you whether you want that attached from the beginning or just left with the other parts. So I competitively never run it just because, like I said, I'm in cover and stuff like that. As I move, it bumps it off. So I included it because some people like it. I don't. So, all right. So real quick here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some darts over the chrono for you. So these are just some dart zone rubies. Okay. So I've got one already primed in there. You can tell if it's primed because you can't see the spring or the plungers all the way back, right? So that means the catch hasn't caught. So I'm going to do these first without a B-car, and then I'll slide a B-car on it for you. So here you go. Like first one. Well, air 3'd, of course. All right, 228. Usually it used to be in the 230s, 220s, somewhere in there. With a B-car, it may drop at 10 FPS. So it just depends on your B-car or if you use a string scar or a printed scar. So, all right, and that's with the rubies. I'll also show you, so I've got some, in case if you're a worker dart fan, it can work with these. I just find that they're more erratic, honestly, with the curry barrel. So a lot of people really love the worker Gen 3s. It's just not my biggest thing that I really care for. All right, so here we go. I'll put a couple over, and I have the B-car now too, so it's going to probably slow it down quite a bit. Air 2. Give it a second here to kick over. Okay, here we are. 196. So that really slowed it down with that. And that's with the worker Gen 3s, but if you go back to rubies, like I said, you'll see. And this is what I primarily use because you can buy worker darts at Target. Or sorry, not worker darts, dart zone darts at Target or at Walmart if you want the embers. They're still made. Those are Venture Force Pro, but they're still made by Dart Zone. So, all right, there's 211, 218. So it's still going to be hitting right around like between 210 and 225 with rubies. Those are really good, and it's going to be super accurate. And then again, remember you've got slam fire, so if you're running around and you're just trying to quick. So one of the ways you can kind of control your FPSs is one of them is obviously putting on a B-car. It's going to make you more accurate and lower your FPS slightly. So if you're playing with a little bit slower caps in your area, that's fine. Honestly, the Lynx is really accurate even without a B-car, and this is something I would definitely recommend getting some sort of optic. Like you can get a cheap red dot off of Amazon for like 20 bucks. And this is something that you can actually dial in and it will be accurate enough to keep hitting that. Just remember that your engagement range is probably going to be 80 feet to 100 feet. So with this, that's about where you're maxing it at. It's further than a Seagull for sure. I know when I play at a lot of the indoor arenas and whatnot around here that are airsoft arenas, I can outrange people with my Lynx as opposed to if I swap over to a Seagull. So this has a lot of capabilities. Like I said, it's going to last a long time. And it's a really great blaster. So I'm excited to get this out to you. And if you have any questions or issues, don't hesitate to reach out.